Are you ready to feel the fierce? Are you ready to smell the boom? Well, thank God, because you came to the right podcast. This is We Are Rooting For You. I am Mark Poupard, GAMbIT Magazine contributor, joined by my lovely co-host and also fellow GAMbIT Magazine contributing editor, Samir Roy.
Hello, y'all out there in model test and loving land.
Welcome back to another fantastically crazy week of America's Next Top Model. Tonight we're going to be talking about the most recent episode that now airs on Fridays, and if you didn't know, well, I'm pretty sure you did, of Top Model, that was called The Guy or Girl Who Comes Back or Came Back. I don't really know if they're going present or past tense here, but
I'm not sure, but I was really
either
thrown
way,
off by the
I feel like
switch.
the title tells you everything you need to know. You know that there have been 8 weeks of voted off models, and that there are only 7 models in the proper competition currently. So the guy or girl who comes back should leave very little to the imagination, which this episode did.
Yeah, but then they also sprung the surprise on us of doing the, everyone's coming back. You're going to be paired with a loser model for your go-see.
Well, we did kind of call that. So it was, first of all, super strange that there was absolutely no mention of it leading up to it. Which,
Not
I mean,
through
we
a single episode.
we
I don't
sort
even
of
remember
already
her
talked
mentioning
about
it at the
it.
beginning. Did she?
No, never in the beginning. Because remember in cycles past where she's had this like
She talks about it every week. Remember, you have a chance to come back. Remember,
well, she
you have
tells
a chance
it.
to come
She
back.
tells it to everybody that gets voted off as sort of like their very sad parting gift of like, you could come back, you really could, you just might. There's that other episode. There's gonna be this other episode where you might be able to come back, and if you get enough social media votes, which is what they got rid of this cycle, then you have the possibility of coming back on this competition. We all already know that the person that comes back doesn't even ever win or last beyond the next episode past them getting back on the show.
True, but does she always have to throw the baby out with the bathwater? Because it was like, why couldn't you at least tell us that someone was coming back until now?
So that was strange that there's been absolutely no mention of it. Obviously, we know that the rules, I suppose, to a certain extent have changed, who the judges are, but there's no talk about it. Usually the eliminated models are brought back to do the exact same photo shoot that the models who are still active in the competition do every week, and then we kind of get a look at like how the eliminated models have been doing, and it also gives you like the sense of like they've been practicing, so like they actually might have a legitimate shot because they have been doing some work. They haven't been like sitting around eating hotel room service this whole time or something like that.
Assuming that the show is still paying for their room service.
Yeah, well, none of them live in the LA area. I mean, they all might be like bunking at an Airbnb, but regardless, they haven't been like sitting around. It gives you the illusion that they've attempted to grow in the weeks that you haven't seen them / have completely forgotten about them, like Delaney. And even Dustin was like, huh? Oh, you. Yeah, I remember you vaguely.
Well, I guess now that like they aren't doing the photo shoots all along, they don't have to stay sequestered the entire time, so maybe they got a taste of like life on the outside of the cult for a little while.
Maybe.
Like they got to leave Jonestown for a little while, and then they had to come back. I was thinking like, but they all seem to
she hasn't mentioned it though, which is super strange. It wasn't up until we had pondered the question in previous episodes and in previous reviews on GAMbITmag.com and
GAMbIT Digital on YouTube.
And we were just made aware that the eliminated models can come back, and they can win a spot just last week when we got the glorious trailer that also let us know that go-sees are happening this
my
week.
gosh. And I was
so it was like a double whammy that we got to have our 2 favorite things kind of happen at the same time. Even though, and I mean, we'll get to it in a minute or so, but even though like the destination reveal of where they're going this season is just
so
like
sad.
Deeply depressing. Like Vegas. Like what? You guys are broke, aren't you? Aren't you
like
broke?
When you like get it, you finally like after like all your life, if you lived somewhere that wasn't California like us, and Disneyland was always a faraway destination for you, you get to Disneyland and you realize that Splash Mountain and the Matterhorn have been closed. You're like, well, what the hell did I spend money? Like, oh, we're gonna stay in the Disneyland hotel, but the pool is closed, and it's the height of summer. Sorry.
Yeah.
Like, what? I would have felt like so gypped when I got to that point in the show. Like, I was like, oh my god, I'm going to get on a plane. I'm going to go to some country I've never been to.
Because in past seasons, too, there have been models been like, I've never left the country. I've never been on a plane. She used to actually change people's lives a little bit. But now we're going to Vegas, which is a 3-4 hour drive maybe
A
3 or 4 hour drive.
3-hour tour.
That it has that vibe, but I almost wish that they would get on like a Greyhound bus or something instead of getting shuffled off in some like party bus for them to stare daggers at each other. And
They're all gonna go via megabus. I'm not spending more than $1 on travel for each of you.
Well, isn't that exactly that's happening? They're not staying on the Strip. We all know that. They're not staying in a wind tower. And
They're staying in the remnants of Black Rock City, Nevada after Burning Man left. And then they're going to commute into Vegas for their photo shoots.
I bet wherever they're staying, they're going to be commuting a lot. It's just, it was like one of the most disappointing things. It's like, Top Model,
like,
you
really?
used to be beautiful. What happened?
Are we in Jackie Brown now? We used to be beautiful.
Used to be beautiful, man. You're the only person that gets that reference. Thank God.
There's got to be someone else out there. I know my girl Steph out there gets that reference. We used to listen to that soundtrack all the time.
It's a good soundtrack.
I loved his soundtracks because Quentin Tarantino would always have like bits of the dialogue from the movie.
Also, yeah. That's the only reason why I know about the Delphonics.
Hey, the Delphonics were always cool.
They were always cool as soon as I was made aware of them, thanks to Jackie Brown.
See, my father raised me on Motown music, so that kind of, like, we actually had those records in my house growing up. So, I was like, oh, Delphonics. When it was in the movie, I was all excited.
So if you haven't seen Jackie Brown, you should immediately correct that problem.
Yeah, seriously, best Quentin Tarantino movie ever, and I am not arguing with anybody about this.
No,
because you're all wrong if you
we're
try.
in complete agreement.
Like, by far the best. The most human.
And it has Michael Keaton in it. Like, what more could you... Whatever.
Anyways,
we need our separate...
We're going to go to that podcast later.
Stay tuned for our Jackie Brown podcast coming soon.
We love Jackie Brown. It's going to go on forever and ever. But nonetheless, back to Top
the challenge.
Model.
Yeah. Okay, so... When we start the episode...
Pardon me.
That was a powerful sneeze. I think it, actually...
Shades of my dad. You used to be able to hear him out on the curb.
Yeah. I think you, peaked.
Did I break the sound barrier with that
just,
sneeze?
you clipped it a little bit, I think, because that's how powerful your sneeze was.
Damn.
So we start the episode... Essentially, the way we start any episode is picking up where we left off. But the one thing that I didn't remember leaving off on last week was Mikey, French braided his hair into pigtails.
When did that happen?
He looks like Swiss Miss, but with the freak show version of it.
Like hillbilly Swiss Miss.
It was just, but he has the blonde braids. If you don't look at his face, you're like, who's that little girl?
Or Swill Miss.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I didn't remember those from last week for one reason or another. Probably because my brain blocked it out.
Maybe they got stuck in LA traffic on their bus back to the model mansion, and he had nothing to do because he didn't bring a book. I guess
he doesn't read. Samir, he from Florida.
Hey, people from Florida read. Didn't you see?
Nope.
I'm sure they read. They have schools. You got to read to get through school. There's got to be some reading going on. Just this guy wasn't prepared to do any of that on this show because he spent his time braiding his hair. And maybe he was inspired by Miss J because Miss J has the yarn braids every week.
He's been having, and there were different colors. It was green this week.
Oh my God, it's still awful. Every color is awful. That hairdo is not working for you, Miss J. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry that you've chosen this.
But I also am not understanding the theme. Why don't I understand?
Did they announce the theme of the beginning?
No.
I feel like maybe they did and they just cut it out because it was so ridiculous and nonsensical that they decided against it.
Can we please crack the mystery of the opening credit sequence? Because I am
The boardroom?
Yeah.
Where they all bang their heads on the table?
Tyra's 90s power boardroom meetings. All she's missing is the brick phone.
Double I.
And she's wearing that horrible beekeeper jumpsuit. It's just gross. And the only person I can recognize, oddly enough, is Mikey, to bring it full circle. But they used to film the opening credit sequence for a lot of the seasons, and they did it last year, and they made a big point of it. And then she had to reveal it, and maybe she was just most excited about Keith Carlos's penis. I was gonna say trouser snake and then stop myself.
Well, you could have. I would have understood.
Maybe that's what she was so excited about showing this segment, but it's a bad opening credits sequence to begin with, and so I'm just surprised. But we are going to get a music video challenge next week. Episode. So I guess maybe I was just worried we weren't going to get a video challenge where everybody gets to embarrass themselves and not understand
Remember Cycle 2 when it was a commercial for Rolitos?
No.
Yeah, the rolled Doritos.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I actually thought for a second it was Rolos, the chocolates.
No, they didn't get that kind of,
They didn't get that contract.
No, it was Doritos with a product that quickly vanished from the market very shortly after.
Huh.
They needed any of the help they could get, and Tyra was like, well, I need a product to have these girls chill for this episode. Rolitos it is. And
it's a far cry from CoverGirl.
Very far cry. I don't know. I guess a gig's a gig. If you get a check, you will shill Rolitos all fucking day long.
This is true.
As long as, money rolls into your pocket.
But I don't understand why we never got to see. I would love to see the creation of how this power boardroom meeting.
I know that would have been a great episode if it was all about
the 22nd cycle. Like you'd think she'd want to maybe for the 25th anniversary.
I'm like, don't you want to go meta?
I'm just disappointed. I guess I really wanted just more out of that opening title sequence because the spot it's also post tie over, so I don't even recognize almost anybody, especially Lacey. Well, Niall's so good looking they didn't need to do anything to him in the tie overs. But Lacey, I think, has had the biggest transformation.
She still looks good with her old hair too. I noticed.
No, she does. But I think that the black hair really sets her apart because she just looks.
It's a distinctive cut too. Yeah. We mentioned this before, how much I think it really is working for her. And it can even they give her a wig in this episode for the main photo challenge.
Did they? I thought they just styled it different.
Did they? I don't know. Maybe they did. It just looked really ratty because they were trying to make her look like a dog.
Right.
But obviously, she killed it like she does everything. But nonetheless, we got to talk about. First there was the.
But it ties in because Lacey, she won Best Photo last week. She's on a roll. This is her third time in the Tyra suite.
And this time she watches the tie tip by herself. No one else is in the room with her when she sees it, and that's because it's all about how people are going to start getting jealous of her because she's winning so much.
Well, she already. She's pretty smart.
She said that. It was all put together because they probably saw that and they're like, "So, what did Tyra say to you in the tie tip?" Oh, well, she said this, and they added it together to make it look like she's like. So I'm really concerned because people are going to be like, we don't know.
No, I meant her comment about it was actually maybe when she won the second time. She said that she could feel people's beady little eyes on her, and she was talking specifically about Mikey and Devin, who do both have admittedly very beady eyes.
They're very creepy people. but Lacey,
the mouth is beat, the eyes are shot, or no, the mouth is shot.
The mouth is not happening,
and the eyes are beat. I think she called Mikey's eyes beat. Kelly was on a "you're a terrible person" roll.
Yeah, well, it comes naturally to her.
I guess,
terrible.
And it comes naturally to her cohorts and anybody that's involved with her in a professional.
Oh my God!
Except for Tyra. Tyra is still her tie self.
One of the Go-See people was one of her former employees.
So funny you brought that up, and I can now remember seeing her on the hills. Anyway, we're getting a little ahead of ourselves. So Lacey won. She's in the tie suite alone, but she does have this wonderful commentary about Devin after they get their message that they're going to be going on Go-Sees, which was some really contrived rhymey poem, which is soon you'll see about getting seen and going on a scene or some shit like that.
So to book it, you've got to book it. Or you've got to book it if you want to book it or something like that. I was like, you're okay.
I like mine better.
Well, it was better. She was just repeating the same line twice. Really.
I know.
And then, of course, Devin's like,
oh, yeah,
I've been signed to 6 agencies, and I'm going to be the big star of these goes. This is what I do. And then he's drunk. Next! I'm like,
oh my
hear that
God.
a lot.
That comboed with him at the very end of this episode when, you've probably already seen it, and I don't think that this is ruining anything to say that Devin is in the bottom 2 this week. He, in his confessional, talks about how he actually got dropped from some agencies.
I know this is the first time he actually admitted that, I guess you only have 5 agencies now.
Yeah,
You've been
or
saying
maybe
6 all
less.
season.
And so if he's lying about that, what else is he lying about? His age. He's lying about his age.
He's not 21 or whatever
He's
he says
not 22. He's not in his 20s. I don't believe that.
No. I don't believe he's early 20s, that's for damn sure.
He's definitely not. He's over 25. I'll give him that.
It's not like it's that much older, but if it's...
No, I'm not trying to be shady at all. I just don't believe that you're 22 and you should stop lying. You should stop using that exaggerated of a lie. It's like when I was 19 and my fake ID said I was fucking 28.
Oh, God, you paid for that?
No, a friend of mine gave it to
me
that I used to work with. She was moving to a different state. She wasn't going to use this license anymore. She gave it to me. And I used it, and people actually let me in until one day, I forget which club, but some club in North Beach was like, you've got to be kidding me. You think you look 28? And he took my ID away from me, and he said that if I could really prove it, to come back the next day with another form of ID. And so, obviously, that was gone.
Well, it was nice while it lasted, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm. But I'm saying it's just as believable, and someone needs to check him like that bouncer checked me.
I don't think that they're that rigorous with their background checks on the show. I think if they were, they wouldn't have any contestants.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and even... And people that work post on the show are probably like, he says he's 22. I'll give a fuck if he's lying. Put
That's
that
going
in the lower
third.
Exactly.
I don't get paid enough.
So Devin had some very ironic moments, and it's only ironic because I don't think he's aware of like this semi-loser edit that he's getting this week. So his like confession about how he was like actually dropped from an agency, and him yelling next drunkenly after reading the Go See tie mail out loud, and everybody just being like, yeah, we know, you're next. Yeah. He at least he was joined by his fellow bottom twoer this week, which was Justin, J Smooth, whose name I actually almost forgot while trying to think of his name. Like, I was like, had it, lost it, had it, don't, wait, Justin.
Because he was with Dustin for the Go-Sees.
Justin and Devin, and I'm just like, who is now there? But anyway, like, Justin gave himself the kiss of death when he started talking about his Asian American, his parents that immigrated and really had like very stereotypical Asian American parent expectations of their child to become like a doctor,
something stable and
an astronaut, lucrative. Literally anything but being a model, because they know that that's probably not. It's like a 1 in a million chance. If he had actually
been discovered by somebody who's like, oh my god,
that would be a total different story.
That's different than him. Like, I'm going to pursue this as a career. And I'm like, when did you really decide to pursue this? When you saw the commercial last cycle of the date for the auditions in your area? Is that when you decided to pursue modeling after you got a rejection letter from grad school? Like, when did this passion begin? Because passion was the buzzword this episode, even though it was applied to Bejo. Bejo, he wanted to show that he really was passionate about this, and his idea of being passionate was to be annoying.
Yeah, again, just to be very petty. And
like, even in the room, like, okay, so for these Go-Sees, when they all find out that they're going to be paired up with one of the eliminated models, and they bring them all in, he, like, obviously is like, I'm back. I bet you didn't think you'd see me so soon. And I'm like, no. I was praying I wouldn't see you again soon. That is not the same as thinking I wouldn't. I know because of your crazy batshit attitude that you would be back at some capacity on this show. Because this show is not complete without your batshit insanity. So we knew you were going to come back. And especially since the previous episode showed us a preview where you were back.
Yeah, none of this is...
This is not surprising to me.
This is not news to us at all.
But nonetheless, he comes in and he instantly is like when he just instantly starts being like negative out loud.
It was super funny. So he gets picked last. So, I mean,
Hadassah skips over him.
Well, that
was
too.
The thing that
but he's also the very last. Well, and even Mame was like, I guess I'll go with Courtney. Like, no one wanted him. And so it's just ironic that Devin was the last person to have to pick. And he was like
chewing his face when he realized that he was stuck with Bejo.
But Bejo, of course, as soon as like Courtney gets last, he's like, I can't believe how fraudulent some people are in this house. It's like, girl, stop. You just use the biggest word you know. You need to calm down.
Or like when he's like, oh, it really shows you who your real friends are. And I'm like, why are you saying this out loud?
Fraudulent, though. Like, calling people fraudulent.
He talked about it twice. Right after Hadassah. He's like, oh, wow, I guess you really know. Like, dude, you realize you're in the agency that you were hoping to get a job with.
I mean, he must have known that he had no real shot. And the producers are like, look, you're not going to come back. So just give us what we want and stir some shit up and have some fun. And maybe we're finally seeing his acting chops at work.
Maybe these are,
This is maybe it's his best work. Because, girl, please, do you really think that he's short, the hair weighs him down, and he's paired up with Devin. It's like, what else screams, you're not gonna make it
Like,
more?
You got paired with the one person who can make you look as short as possible.
And like, the one person that's either gonna make you look better or worse, but even still, taking that chance, you're like cutting yourself a lot short.
A lot, literally, and figuratively.
He doesn't have, like, male models... He doesn't have a male model look. I don't see it when I look at him. I don't see editorial. I don't see whatever Tyra sees whatsoever.
I see his fake-ass contact lenses.
Girl, please, we know. We know.
Another ridiculous lie that nobody is buying on this show.
I think somebody sent me a link online to, like, it wasn't Model Mayhem, but it was something like that, where you can post your own pictures of your model, and it's picture Bayo with fucking brown eyes, like greenish brown.
It wasn't a blurry baby photo that was color corrected to have turquoise eyes.
It looks like the reverse. It actually looks a little bit like when you overcorrect the red eye on your phone and it like takes all the color out and it's black, and then he just added a little blue drop in there and he's like, there, done.
Done.
Because he doesn't have Photoshop.
No. Nobody apparently did, because that photo was straight up not convincing at all. I'm like, is that even him as a baby? I think
everybody just thought that he could bring some real drama, and if he's an actor, I'm just hoping that this is him acting.
Well, and in some essence, it probably is to a large extent, because they're always trying to draw out these kinds of personalities in the people they bring on the show. We know why they brought him back, or brought him on to begin with. It wasn't
for his Elizabethan bun?
No, the Elizabethan man bun was not the reason. He didn't even need that damn thing until they gave him those fucking extensions. Like, what oh my god.
I honestly just wanted to know what he looked like with a haircut. Just
a haircut and his normal eyes.
Yeah, I'm sure he's probably quite attractive.
Probably, when
you're not trying so hard, you look better. Just, your whole, everything just comes up better.
It's like you just watched Sister Act 2. You're just uplifted.
Oh, you feel like Whoopi when she's won her first Oscar.
Or Lauryn Hill when she's singing alone in the church.
For a second, I thought you were going to talk about Lauryn Hill, like, present day.
No, let's just not talk about that. I don't know what she's up to.
She's still singing and touring and stuff.
Yeah.
But anyway, so mini challenge starts with everybody pairing themselves off. I was surprised, but with an eliminated... Well, you guys get it. So we started with Lacey since she won last week, and and then they kind of progressed in order. Oh yeah, since Devin was like that close to getting eliminated last week. Aha, that's why he's last. I can do math, you guys. Model math. I was surprised that Lacey paired herself up with Stefano. I mean, I guess there's nothing wrong with him, but I also...
It was an odd choice.
It was weird.
Niall chose Delaney,
who we both forgot was also
I forgot she was ever there. She was eliminated first. Before they even got to a real challenge, she was eliminated. I completely forgot she was ever there.
But I'll never forget Tyra's critique of her photo this week. I like that you're dancing. Like, it's like that editor tried real hard to find some positive comments.
Well, she was a straight up disaster in this episode. She was like, I love that when they started going on the go-sees, like, at least they get a car to drive around in, which doesn't seem like the best way to get around. There's no good way to get around LA.
Use your Oppo phone. It, quote unquote, has amazing GPS.
I'm like, is the GPS really the phone's thing, or is it just something independent of the phone that has the
is
power
it like an
to tap
Apple Maps
into?
Situation, or is it because if there's Google Maps on that and you can't say Google Maps, like I guess I get it better, but if it's like
if it's like
Oppo Maps or some shit like that, like Apple Maps, I would not use that. Poop maps. Aw, maybe they have little pictures of bathrooms that you can use.
It's like the little poop emoji like all over to tell you where a bathroom is.
I like it.
That would be a good addition to the poop phone.
Yeah, they should really just embrace the inversion of their name.
Stupid, this Delaney girl is like, I'm really worried it might be difficult being with a deaf person. I'm like, no. He's actually like the best one in the competition right now, so you're going to have not so good a time because you're not as good. And then she just fucks shit up the whole way, like, oh, I left my purse behind. Oh, I left my... And he's like, where's your portfolio? Oh, I left it in the car. Like, it's as if it's not something that she needs. Like, oh, it's in the car. Like, he's like, but... Well, you need that. So now we have to go back and get that. So then they couldn't even go to all four shitty designers because...
Oh my god, we can get to those in a minute. We should go through like the pairings first.
So we had Lacey and Stefano.
Well, so with Delaney though, my theory, at least with Delaney and Niall, I can kind of understand.
The ugly person to stand next to you in school to make it look better.
I think that she seems really low key, and that's kind of what he picked up on. And she actually tried. I'm trying to like save her a little bit here because she seems like a nice person.
She did seem like a nice person,
and she seems very low drama, but she seems kind of also a little ditzy.
She was very unprofessional, I would say.
But she's also the only one that actually like tried to communicate with Niall using sign language. Like I saw her trying to sign some stuff.
I think maybe she also felt like I don't have a whore's chance in heaven of getting back onto the show.
I feel like it was very.
And what was in her portfolio? She didn't take any photos.
Right? Maybe not ditzy is not the right word, but maybe like a little checked out.
Yeah.
Is a little.
I think maybe that might have had something. Like she had to like, oh yeah, I totally care about like. I don't think she was suffering from any delusion in this episode that she actually had a shot.
And I appreciate that neither was Courtney. There was a point when, actually, when she gets her critique from Tyra and she eventually gets, like, eliminated, you could just tell that she's like, that was fun. And I was like, good attitude. Good attitude.
She didn't,
That's,
like,
the best.
make it, like, the end of her world.
Right.
But she still
to be fair, Delaney didn't either. I mean, the only thing I will criticize Delaney for is, why are you running down downtown LA streets with no shoes on?
Oh,
you
my
have
God.
foot aids now. Just letting you know.
Ringworm, hello.
Jesus, or some other worm will get in your foot. That's gross. I don't know, you have to chop your feet off.
I know, and I'm like, all these, like, designers are, like, not even in nice parts of LA. They're, like, all in, like, Hollywood. Which people, I guess, if you've never been to Hollywood, it ain't nice.
No.
It's really not nice.
It's not what you think.
Not at all.
And it's not where you think either.
No. It's all part of the illusion of the movies. Mm-hmm. That Hollywood is a nice place. Because you can see, like, they had to do a lot. There's a lot of shots of freeway signs. Instead of, like, the streets that they're driving down, there's lots of close-ups inside the car, like, just don't show the streets. Just don't show the street outside that this office is at, because we want people to believe that this designer is successful, and there's no way a successful designer is in this building.
I mean, anybody that makes drop crotch neon hair, like...
spandex hair and pants / clam diggers, because they only went to mid-calf.
Oh my God.
I'm like...
That person's not... We know that's
like, we're
not
all
real.
about fun. I'm like, oh, God.
I know. And I want to say, like, when... What was that designer's name? Like, I feel like it had the word booze in it. I was like, that explains everything.
Like Booze Land? That bar in SF?
No, it was, like, not sober designs. Like, that designer had some sort of, like... some sort of explanation as to why his clothes look like they did. I was like,
you spent way too much time at EDC, like, for real.
He seemed like he was either getting ready to go to or just came back from Burning Man.
That was not a tent I would have visited at Burning Man.
No, like, no one wants to visit the trucker hat
I'm like, can we burn your designs with the man at this festival? Ugh. At least those pants. Just those pants have to go. Completely gone.
I mean, the bathing suit place seemed okay.
They were alright. And then, like, was it Ida Cohen, something?
I don't know.
Something like that.
When you say things like you're fucking chewing the side of your face, we're not gonna be able to properly
what's her
relate
name? Emily Buntger?
Buntgert?
Something?
Bunzinger?
Buntgert?
Emily not Blunt.
Emily not someone I like. Like, because I instantly recognize that snotty tone and attitude. I'm like, you are taking yourself way too seriously. You are not dealing with an Amphar event here. This is literally a top model go-see. Like, you are not doing anything that's valuable to the world around you in your position here, except stand in for the designer who didn't want to be seen on this show.
Pretty much.
Because all she did was like, I wouldn't really hire... Lacey, because she was kind of stumbling in the gown. I'm like, yes, well, if you give her a flowy gown that's 6 inches too long for her, and then, like, expect her to...
That has a train that looks heavy because it's beaded. And also, why are their boobs blurred? Even Hadassah's boobs are blurred. I was like, what kind of ball gown is this?
I was like, and every other girl got dresses that cut off above the ankles at the very least. I was just like, that was kind of odd. Like, I guess they wanted to throw in, like, a little bit of, like, sort of like a little bump in the road for Lacey, so we, like, we don't think she's gonna...
Yeah.
Like, we're not fooled.
Dude,
she booked the other 3 jobs, didn't she?
Yeah.
Like, a lot of these people actually did really well.
So, the rest of the pairings are as follows. So we got through Lacey and Niall.
Courtney and Mame.
Hadassah and Ava, the cool Christian.
The cool Christian.
Mikey and Ashley.
Oh my God. That was the grossest thing when they were in the car and he was like, oh, is there like a cheap motel around here? I'm like,
God,
oh,
he's
God.
Just such a fucking rapist.
Can I wear like a giant, like, complete body prophylactic to like sit next to you anywhere? Because I feel like I need that. But nonetheless, it was just so grody. I was like...
And then like, Justin and Dustin.
Like when that little... drop crotch harem pant designer was like, you're trying to confuse me, and I'm like, oh, you're such an idiot. And then we totally got like completely confused when we started writing. I was like, wait a minute, you're talking about Dustin? Oh no, wait, you mean Justin? No, you got it right. I think
no.
Yes,
I was right the first time.
Yes, no changing. Don't edit it out.
No, leave it. It's
deleting
fine.
And retyping a lot of J's and D's in this review.
Justin, Devin.
Ugh. But yeah, like I think actually.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, Justin and Dustin, that team actually worked out. Kelly was trying to talk shit about them because they were the ones who bum rushed Mikey and Ashley's go-see. They're like, oh, we don't have enough time. I mean,
poor Ashley. Like, can we just go back to that for just like a split second?
Yes.
Like, not only does she get picked by Mikey, and so he kind of drags her down and distracts her, but everything about her screen time was just very tough to watch. I mean, even like her final photo was just...
There was no illusion that she was coming back.
Yeah, I felt... And so when she was like, I gotta stay focused, it was like,
I'm gonna take this here. I'm like...
It doesn't matter.
I'm like, you always end up... Half the time you pick people that are terrible, and the other half the time, people who are terrible pick you. You were always destined for failure on this show.
Yeah, when Devin's like, DMA's back, I was just like...
DMA is back and DMA is gone.
Yeah, and one more letter is about to drop off.
It means somebody took an antibiotic and cleared up that infection.
Thank God.
And I think we're gonna. I think a part of that growth is also going to be swiped off soon. Mm-hmm. It really is a tough call between Justin and Devin for next week, but I don't know. But based on the performance this week, Justin did so much better when he went as go-sees because Devin only got to 3 out of the 4 and only booked 1, which didn't do much, which basically completely shut down all his I've been signed by 6 agencies talk. And now
maybe that was finally it, because he did start talking up like a big game drunkenly at the very beginning of the episode that pissed off Lacey, which I thought was funny.
She's like, it's your time to go.
Pretty much. It's like when people start saying that about you,
it's been your time to go for a while.
But he was like, people need to see you on your go-sees, and you gotta just work it. And he just was trying to give drunken advice that nobody ever asked for. And yeah, you're right. The only booking 1 go-see, and he tried to shift a little blame on Bayo, which like I guess is justified. But also, you're a fucking grown-ass man and handle your shit.
Oh my God, that drama when they get to the elevator. Remember when Hadassah and Ava and Bayo and
Bayo
Devin...
is just, he's so over the top.
And what was he
it's hard
doing?
To make Devin not look over the top. But Bayo makes Devin look calm.
I didn't even understand what the consternation was about that elevator. He goes up to the elevator first, he hits the button, and then because it's not already opening, he runs away, but then he runs back.
No, he went to go ask what floor because he didn't know what floor.
Yeah.
And so he runs away, and Devin's just standing there, and then I guess in that split second or so that Bayo is off screen talking to a janitor or production.
Somebody. We couldn't even see who he was talking to.
Yeah. Ava and Hadassah walk up and they get the elevator, they hop on, and then they beat up, because obviously elevator's gonna beat fucking Bayo's tiny legs and Devin,
the stairs.
And Devin being just confused.
Because Devin's gotta wait for him to get there before they can do their go-see, because he can't do it without his buddy, I guess, whatever you call them. For these go-sees.
I mean, I know that and I completely agree with you too, this like time limit, you have to be on time in this like metropolitan city that is known for traffic. I mean, it's not even just LA. They've had go-see challenges like in Italy, and they've been like, you don't speak Italian, see you later, enjoy taking the subway, which is really fucked up. And so having them come back on time is definitely going to result in the drama that you seek, but...
It's not really much of an object lesson in working in the industry.
Exactly, because you're not going to be paired up with one other person that you're tethered to. If you show up to a go-see with or without your model buddy, they're not going to care.
And you would never schedule 4 go-sees in 2 hours in Los Angeles.
No sane person.
Okay, your first one's in Santa Monica and the next one's in Long Beach. What the fuck are they supposed to do about that? Like, I don't even know where they were. They may not have been that far apart, but nonetheless, there was no way in the middle of the day.
Getting from where they were and probably during rush hour traffic around, which is every hour of the day. That's not like 2 a.m. But getting from wherever they actually shoot Top Model to where they are probably took up a bulk of the time. Because I'm going to go ahead and just assume that they're like either in downtown, which is where Next Model Management is, or they're on the west side. And then they have to get to either deeper downtown or the west side. Either way, they're commuting 45 maybe 60 minutes, and I'm being super generous.
Yeah.
They're probably commuting more like an hour and a half. That has to like eat into your time by some extent. Like they must be close together, because they do show them running down the street to get to like different spots.
Yeah.
So I would assume that they're not that far apart. But
one of them actually, like, sometimes some of the go-see people are kind of smart, because they're like, one of the couples was like, okay, let's go to the one that's furthest away first and then work our way back.
Well, that was the problem.
Which makes the most sense.
That was everybody's issue, though, which is why it ended up getting like a lot of, it happens every cycle, but they get bottlenecked up. So it was like when Lacey and Stefano were at Ida. I want to say
Cohen. Cohen.
I was gonna call her Ida Gardner.
Ida Gardner. Now, when I say Cohen, I keep thinking Genji Cohan.
Oh, well, when they showed up to Emily Eats Her Face,
yes,
her go-see, Lacey and Stefano are there. Hadassah and Ava show up at the exact same time as Devin and Bayo. So it seemed like everybody was kind of like synced up on that thought process to go. It makes the most sense.
My theory is the way you should do this is, if you get on that, you go to the one that's closest to you first, and then go to the one that's furthest away. Because by the time you get to the one that's furthest away, after you've already gone to one, you already got one out of the way, and everyone will have already left that one that's furthest away. And you won't have to wait there or there, and you have more time to go to the ones in the middle. And you don't have to
run off and leave your partner like a crazy person.
Oh my God, like Bayo's like, we don't have time, we're just going to get out of the car. But of course, the weird thing was that the cameras
hold on. They get upstairs. Hadassah and Ava beat them in the elevator because duh. And when they see that there's a wait, which, I mean, honestly, Stefano and Lisa were like basically done. They could have waited like 5 minutes, but I get the rush. He decides to bail, and they decide to just start walking around. They don't have their phone or something because they get lost, and Bayo has to use his broken Spanish to get some direction, which results in like a pretty funny moment from Devin. He's like, "Oh my God, you speak Spanish!" It was really funny.
Yes,
he's just very childlike, and he was just like, "Oh yay!" I'm like, what would have happened to you?
If you had been by yourself.
If you'd been by yourself, or like Bayo didn't speak Spanish.
And it's a pretty bad state of affairs when there's any moment where Bayo is your savior of the
I know.
Like, that's just not a good thing. It's not adding up to anything in your favor. But that was like a running theme for him too. So his passion led him to keep running away and abandoning his partner. And like fucking shit up all over the place.
Towards the end, I mean, it was he was obviously, to begin with, Bayo was pissed he got picked last, pissed that he was paired with Devin, pissed that he's not passionate enough, and was probably pissed off at Hadassah for still being there because he thinks she's a traitor and he wants to like wear her skin while she sleeps.
Whenever he fucking like brushed her off, like for somebody who treated everyone like shit,
don't get
on your way out,
confused,
you're like all surprised that people don't have like. Oh, you think that's not fresh in their mind?
I like can't even right now. I like literally can't right now.
And then you're like, I can't believe that this is how you treat your friends. Now I know who my friends are. I'm like, well, you kind of proved that you weren't much of a friend to begin with.
I thought you were. Wait, I'm sorry. He said last week he's not here to make friends, so...
And now he's all passionate about a friendship, as we learn later on.
Yeah, you wishy-washy.
You
wishy-washy bitch. So, I mean, he ties the whole, like, threes thing up with a nice little bow when he, like, jumps out of the cab, ditches Devin, and just books it running down the street to get to
Gotta book it if you want to book it.
Oh, my God, don't. Don't.
Well, that's exactly what he did. He took Tyra's mail way too seriously and literally.
Well, he wasn't there to read it, so how did he know?
That's right. Because he literally booked it away from... I mean, sensibly, for anybody who wants to make it in the modeling industry, it's probably best to book it away from Devin. But nonetheless, Devin was, like, left in the lurch. Speaking of lurch. Yeah. But, like, he was just like, I don't even know where he went. Like, he's gone. Yeah. So I guess I'm going to try to... Then when he gets back, he's like, I made it.
He's like, I made it here on time. But, I mean, I feel like honestly, if it turned out that Devin really was late and Bayo was there, he would have been disqualified. Because you have to make it back with your partner.
Yeah, I think that might have been part of it. So that would have been pretty sweet. Like, so Bayo, you did make it on time, but your partner didn't, so you're both disqualified. Which doesn't really matter since you didn't book any jobs and he only got one. So...
I mean, it kind of felt like a little small vindication when Bayo booked 0. And then at the judges panel, he was like, I got really great feedback.
And she was like, yeah, that's the industry. They're not going to tell you to your face that you suck ass. They're going to tell you. Oh my gosh,
it sounds like, what's her face? Married and divorced at 18, y'all. It sounds like her when she was like, but everybody told me that I had the best walk ever, that I reinvented the walk. And she, like, totally freaked out. And after she had, like, gloated for the past 20+ minutes about how everybody told her that she has, like, a really great walk. All the designers said so.
Yeah. Like I said, that's the industry. Tyra was like, she was like, I love that what she said in the judging panel, actually. She was like, it's fine. It's great that you have, like, this look and everything, but, people have to choose you.
Yeah.
Like, that still has to happen, regardless of how good you are or anything. Like, you have to do something to make yourself someone that they want to choose. That's a part of being in this industry, and you're really not doing that. So you're making it really difficult for people to choose you, essentially, is what she was telling him. And which we all knew, which is why we loved watching him all this time. But, like, okay, the other go-sees, Niall did really well on his go-sees.
Mm-hmm.
He booked 3. He only got to 3 because of his partner. Mm-hmm. I think if he had gotten to a 4th, he would have booked 4. Mame booked all of them. Everyone totally loved her.
Which was not surprising because she has a great walk. She has a
totally
huge
natural.
presence.
She doesn't overthink it. She's not too full of herself. She knows that she's good. But she just like gets in there and does it. She just like snaps into the character or whatever they wanted her to be. She was able to like discern just from putting on the outfit, like, okay, this is how I feel, this is how I'm going to do. And it just worked for every designer. Even the awful one, she could make that shit look decent.
Asterix, but like spelled Trix. I was like, nope. Nope.
Did they even show her there? I think they just skipped her
they did because that was the very last one that was the very last go-see that she decided that made her late, basically.
Yeah.
Her and Courtney.
Yes, and so they had to come to the decision of giving it to Hadassah, who booked 3 out. She only got to 3 also.
No, she got to all 4.
She booked 3 out of 4. And they thought that she was... I added up all of the designer scores and our scores, and I'm like, well, what do you have to score? You didn't do shit. But nonetheless, I'm like, what were these scores? How did they come up with them? Maybe you could give us a little elucidation on this, because...
she gave them feedback, which obviously didn't have any solid numbers behind them or anything like that. But like you said in our review, she seemed pretty like happy to give them negative feedback.
Oh, yeah.
And just equally displeased to give them positive feedback. Which like explains her smirk, which is like, Mame, you would have won, but I'm taking it away from you. I was like
she literally used those words. I'm taking it away from you.
Like she's a bad kid or something. Like it was just really kind of obnoxious.
I was like, who the fuck are you? All you've been doing far is...
she also made a disgusting comment about Mikey and Ashley, like, oh, this is going to be a conjugal go-see. I'm like, girl, shut up. That is disgusting.
Because you haven't had one for like 30 years.
But that's just so fucking rude. Like, stop trying to be the cool mom. You're not the cool mom.
And you're supposed to be professional, excuse me.
Yeah, she's like, I don't play. I was like, well, clearly you do, because you make really bad jokes all the time at other people's expense.
That are really not appropriate for the place and time.
No, if there were better HR, someone would file a complaint.
And we saw your show, Hell on Earth. It was hell. For everyone.
Yeah, and just completely... utterly pointless.
Really?
And I mean, if anything, your former employee, Emily, chooses out of her face, is like the embodiment of like useless, pointless, and somehow also obnoxious.
Yeah,
and like
they're
very
so self-important.
So serious about like, I represent Ida Cohen. I was
just like...
almost call her Ida Gardner again. Oh, man. Shit.
Like, oh my God, I'm like, the show is getting pretty desperate if they had to go to the extent of asking Kelly's
Look, if they're getting the Guy Fieri of fucking male designers designing neon drop crotch clam digging pants, that no sane man, only like a man rolling on a lot of ecstasy would want to wear those. But even then, I
have a
feel
feeling
like
that even they would second guess themselves when they looked in the mirror.
They might take it off and then rub it on their face after.
Even through the
mop
haze
up the sweat that
of
way.
all this bullshit, I'm still questioning whether or not I should wear these. And that's saying a lot.
Lord have mercy. So, I mean, I honestly will never forget those pants. They're just by far and away the ugliest thing I've ever seen in my whole life. Like, it looked like Lisa Frank started a ironic clothing line, but it's just her name, and only in name form, because it was just like this neon kind of, I don't know. I just felt like it should be on like one of her little neon tiger cubs or something.
It's like Lisa Frank mated with safari prints. And it's not good.
Fuck you, designer, for ruining
That was
this.
really bad. Really bad. But like, remember even the moment when, Dustin and Justin come back, and she's like, yeah, so you, like, busted in on Mike and Ashley's go-see. It was just, like, really unprofessional and this and that and blah, blah, blah. But you booked 3 out of 4 jobs. Like, oh, so they booked the same number of jobs as the winner? So they basically did exactly as well as the person who won.
Huh.
I'm like, whatever reason that Hadassah wasn't booked for that 4th job, like, she still wasn't booked. and I don't really know any better way to sugarcoat that.
I mean, I'm sure Kelly she likes to taketh away a lot more than she giveth.
It looked like it hurt her to actually say, like, you booked 3 out of 4 jobs.
Yeah. She definitely looked like she was in pain whenever she had to be like, yeah, they really liked you. Like she's,
I'm sorry.
Oh my god,
I'm
it's like
those
those Colbert vomit takes where he like reads a famous line from a movie, but like inserts like a, frankly, my dear, I don't give a. I felt like that
Rightfully
was Kelly, except she's not acting. She just has no heart, and she's also a bitch.
I mean, I get like remember in her show they used to always like show her with her daughter because they had to show like that she actually is a human being in some moments of her life, which is probably why we don't hear anything about her daughter on the show because people want her to be a human being. Like,
it's not even that. I just want her to like stop taking the show so seriously.
Like, remember that tweet?
And stop being so like just stop being so mean in an unfun way. Like, if you're gonna be mean, at least be constructive.
She's trying to be funny, but she's not a funny person. That's the problem. And she doesn't have a sense of humor, which is also a problem. And that's why
it's the lack of sense of humor behind it all, because it just sounds more biting than it does sound like funny, but she's trying to be like, haha, I'm laughing, you should laugh. Laugh now. Everybody laugh now.
Sorry, we're not in your cramped office in New York City, so I don't feel like laughing at your stupid jokes. Not only that, who the hell was that idiot who tweeted to the show, like, oh my god, the best part of the show is when Kelly Catrone gives her critiques.
Hashtag strong woman. I'm like,
no. Hashtag go away forever. Like, what's a better one? Black Magic Woman? She looks like a black. She's got...
I know, I'm trying to think of something better. She does wear all black, like she's still in art school. Oh, gosh. I don't know. Black Widow of Death?
Just Black Widow.
Unfunny Black Widow?
There's nothing that's even going to make her funny. She's dragging down my funny. It's like when you play tennis with somebody who's below your level.
She looks like... you called it accurately a couple weeks ago, that she's kind of like the little girl from The Ring.
Grown up. If she grew up to be a middle-aged, bitter, old person.
If she grew up to be somebody that works in PR, which is exactly all those things. Yeah, that's really what she is. She's just the little girl from The Ring all grown up. And, like, I guess can speak English now.
And she, like, just sucks away everyone else's positive energy.
Yeah, she just takes all the air out of the room. I mean, we could talk about how much we don't appreciate her commentary a lot. And this comes from people who actually kind of used to like Kelly Catrone, who used to think that it was like, oh, right.
No, not me.
I used to like her.
I never liked that woman. I always thought she was pointless.
But on this show, she's only proven to be extremely pointless. And as the check collecting carries on and she gets more comfortable, she's only just grinded on my nerves.
She's like encouraged to be the way she is now more and more, the more Tyra keeps her on the show, which is like a really bad thing for everyone.
Like, is she grumpy? Like,
I don't know. I think it's partly a character that she thinks that is working for her.
No, it's definitely that.
Like, she doesn't realize that it's not, and she doesn't really have the chops to pull this off, to make it funny, or to even play it in a way that's multidimensional so that we can like and hate her at the same time. Like, no, it's just straight up hate. There's no like-hate, no love-hate. It's just hate-hate. And I'm, like, not digging her. But, you know, her stupidity in terms of usefulness to the show is part of what makes the show
crazy. Oh, man, she had a couple good lines this episode, for sure. Especially during the judging panel. I'm like, you're an idiot. You need to be quiet. I can't believe anybody ever paid you to pick a picture. Yeah,
pretty much. I mean, speaking of the pictures...
she loves to go on and on about, like, if I spent $1 million on a shoot and I bring this back to the client, I'm like, oh, whoopsies, they're going to be so mad.
I'm like, first of all, you've never had that situation, Kelly Catrone. That's never happened to you. So
no, we know for a fact that People's Revolution was just an elaborate mail scam.
Yeah. Like, I'm sure that all you were doing was drafting new emails from some... like, you know, dignitary in Nigeria whose family money is tied up in an account somewhere that they need you to open for them. Like, some variant of that in the fashion world is really the place that she occupied. That was a stoop that she slept on at night. But I also think that we have to definitely double back to the actual photo challenge this week, wherein, ironically... because Kelly is such a dog of this show.
Oh.
They were all posing with dogs, but it was like, I actually kind of liked this concept, which was
Me too.
Like, you know, people, like, when you choose a dog, there is some way in which your personality and the dog's personality are matched up.
The best thing about Yusai is his adorable French Bulldog.
Yes.
He's so cute. Oh my gosh, I don't see Yusai in him, but I definitely get why Yusai would like that type of dog.
Yeah.
So, but that dog was also in Niall's photo shoot last week. Because when I was looking back through all the photos to put up for a review, I saw his little boom 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 bon voyage. Or something.
Yes, the doll.
Anyway, the doll. And I noticed that he was like one of the little accessories. I was like, yay, that looks so cute. And then I went back and stalked Niall on Twitter. And then I saw that he had tweeted, like, we all know that the real star was Yusai's dog. And there was like a picture of him and the dog was like licking his face. I was like, oh my God, my ovaries just exploded right now. That's the sound of a million ovaries exploding. Fucking Niall. Dear God. I mean,
balls
my phone
turning from blue to purple.
I guess I text Samir so much the word Niall that my phone autocorrected nope to Niall the other day. And it made me happy.
You could probably set that as like a standard thing on your phone forever, actually. Like I had a friend. I don't know. We're not talking about that. We're skipping that. But nonetheless, you could do that with your phone, so that basically any word that begins with N becomes Niall, because you never want to forget him. It's going to be hard to because his photo.
I think that we're not going to forget him. He's going to stick around for a long time, especially based on this photo.
With a husky, right? Was it a Alaskan husky? What do they call it? What kind of?
Is it? I don't know.
Some husky-ish, like wolf-like dog
with bright blue eyes.
Bright blue sparkling eyes, just like Niall's. And it was just like, oh my God, it was such a perfect photo because like symmetrically it was perfect.
Plus he was wearing that really nice, very sharp looking gray suit with the white pinstripes in it.
And he just like, his eyes were like so connected to the camera. Like he was just lasered in so that anybody looking at that photo was looking like right into his eyes.
And that dog trainer got that dog to look right at the camera too. It worked out really well.
I saw did you see the one shot of the woman off camera dangling a big, like a Ziploc bag of treats up above her head to try to get the dog
to look up? And then also there was another shot where someone was like creeping up behind Yusai and they had like a ball inside of like a Chuck-It and they were like waving it over his shoulder. It was like a split second. It was really funny.
But yeah, like oh my God, it was just like so perfect. It really was. You could sell anything in that picture could have been sold.
I would have suit,
everything.
Niall, the dog, the rug, the couch. I'll just look at it. I don't care.
It was so good.
Infamous words of Nicki Minaj, we would stop on that page.
Oh yes, and like I said, cut it out, put it on the wall,
put it on your binder. Carry it to
Don't look
class.
at this picture with a black light.
Leave your luminol at home.
Leave your luminol at home, Niecy Nash. I love you, girl.
But yeah, the concept overall, though, I mean, clearly we can talk about Niall all day, but we can go back to everybody else's dogs as well. They got paired, every model got paired with a dog that
somehow
encapsulated their spirit or looked like them in some way. And I feel like a lot of the pairings went really well. Obviously, Niall and this husky dog made a fantastic pair. A
lot of the eliminated models actually did really well on this photo shoot, too. I was like, oh, this actually is going to be pretty difficult. Good thing some of them sucked it up big on the ghosties to make the decision easier.
Well, I would say that Ashley's photo was not...
No, that was not good.
That was really bad.
Like, you could tell it was just like a step below what it needed to be. Like, her eyes were like, she needed to pop her eyes a little. I don't know. I'm giving modeling advice. I've never done this shit. But it looked like the photo would have looked better. Just like Tyra said, you know, if you turned your head just a little more so that your head and the dog's head were like symmetrically facing forward, and if you'd like, you know, just exaggerated your expression a little bit more, it would have made the whole picture pop. And it was like a deflated balloon.
It just looked like a weird senior high school portrait. Like the one, because you know there's always that weird kid that's like, I'm gonna take it with this fern. She looked like the kid that's like, I'm gonna take it with my dog.
No,
my
it didn't
dog's
work,
my friend. Yeah, I felt bad for her. I mean, I already mentioned it, so I don't need to dwell on it. But it was, poor thing. I just want to give you a hug.
I know, she really needs it. Tie chop. She got chopped twice.
Well, at least, you know, much like, I mean, we can get to that, but a lot like some other eliminated models that came back and now are gone for good. Now you guys can cut your hair.
Oh my God, you can do something with it. Oh my God, please, just get rid of it.
Just buzz it. You'll look like Natalie Portman. It'll be fine.
They slicked back her mullet on this so you couldn't tell that that's what it was anymore. And her photo was really good. She slicked back her hair for the rest of this episode. Yeah. She did not wear it the way that it was done for her when she was legitimately on the show. And that was a very smart thing to do. Not. Ever. Don't ever go back to that. Because, you know, I have a very long period of my life where I didn't take pictures of myself at all. Like, there's like almost no photos of me like in existence practically for like a good 5 years of my life. I just did not I didn't have a phone that took selfies. I didn't do any of that, and I just wasn't in group shots. I just didn't want to be in pictures for a long time. I feel like this should be her phase, that phase of her life. Is the time she was on Top Model, is just don't have any photos of that anywhere. Just have the photos before the haircut and when you had your hair slicked back, that whole period in between where you had the chopped
It
up
never
mullet,
happened, don't
that,
worry.
like, you know, it was like I said, like when Joan Crawford got mad at Christina and chopped all her hair off, don't ever let anyone know you had that hairdo. Ever. Ever. Cool Christian though you may be, that is something you need to pray to Jesus to forget.
Mm-hmm. Hopefully.
Big time. But she still got an amazing photo that I thought was actually, like I said in the written review too, that like they praised the judges praised Hadassah's photo, like, oh, I could see you, like, you're having lunch at a fancy salon, a very posh restaurant
of
with
course
your
Kelly
dog.
said this.
You know, and I'm like, yes, Kelly said this. And I'm like, you know, the photo was good, but it really wasn't that good. And then we saw Ava's, I keep wanting to call her Ashley, so many A names. But now that Ava was in there.
Well,
with
also she was paired up with a Chihuahua, which is the same dog that Ashley got paired up with.
That's probably, you know, psychosomatically I've connected them all.
Mm-hmm.
But nonetheless, I thought she really captured that kind of like snotty, like rich Parisian woman, like out to the shop and got a cup of tea for her dog and for herself, kind of like I completely bought it in her photo. If she...
Yeah, I mean, even though Hadassah was sitting across from a show poodle named Norma Jean.
Gorgeous dog, Norma Jean.
Cute. I mean, I thought that was also a very good pairing, and then the way that they did her hair. I mean, I honestly feel like Hadassah's styling was doing all of
a lot
that
of the work for her. Because face-wise, I wasn't getting a lot of
I mean, she's got a great
tension.
profile.
One of Tyra's old buzzwords. I didn't get the tension.
But she has a great profile.
And
I
it
mean,
was
I
a
like
good
the
pose.
hand.
I like the one
handout.
finger, almost like she's about to tickle the dog under its chin. Like, I got it. Like, it wasn't a bad photo at all. But I don't think it was great.
Like you said in the review, she was overpraised because they want to give her the comeback kid cut, which is fine. That's okay.
They got to mix it up somehow to try to confuse us. But I am not harboring any delusions that she's going to be in the final 3 unless it's just some horrible miscarriage of top model justice, which is entirely possible. One never knows. One never knows completely.
But she pulled out probably the best photo she's had. Not only was it not shot by Mr. Tyra, so her face was obviously in focus, she was being directed and shot by Usai, which I feel like this was the best sort of on-set direction you're ever going to get from him. Because he can actually like look at the camera and actually control what he wants to control instead of like knowing that an idiot is wielding the camera. And so he's also taking up a lot of anxiety on these models by not knowing if the picture's going to be in focus or not, because Mr. Tyra doesn't care because he's Mr. Tyra and he doesn't have to care.
He's got a big dick. That's all she needs from him. And the free photography. I'm just guessing he has a big dick. I
mean, why else?
I haven't really spent a lot of time looking at his package. He's not that hot.
I don't want to.
Niall, on the other hand, that goes without saying. But nonetheless,
that needs zero clarification. But I think that Hadassah had the best shot that she's had all cycle, but that's not
true.
saying much.
It is not saying much.
So like
I
you
agree.
said, the tension note that she got, I don't remember when, like way back in the beginning, I don't think she's quite gotten there yet, but she does say that she's improving, and she is improving. So, good.
And she was sensible enough to be like, oh, I don't like, actually this time when she was being all sunny, like, I don't like your tone, and that's why I'm not responding to you. And I'm like, snaps, girl, okay, I'm totally with you on this. I'm passionate about this friendship. That's why I'm yelling. I'm like, are you trying to pull a tie-tie cycle 4? When my mother yells at this, means because she loves me. Like, I'm like, that's totally
rooting for you,
that totally was like the vibe of that yelling. And I'm like, and his man, Elizabeth the man, but it's like bouncing behind his head as he's like flinging himself forward.
It really took him no time at all to just start yelling.
And I'm like,
at
okay,
her.
no.
He was trying to start shit with her on set.
Like, all over the place. And I'm like, dude, no. Nobody wants this. No.
Stop.
No.
It's embarrassing.
Completely. But, you know, that's what we watch this show for. It's shot in
Florida.
No,
it's fine. It's perfect. It's exactly what I wanted from him.
But his photo... Well, I mean, granted, a lot of the work for him was really done by his eyes. I agree, the hands, the way he was holding the dog looked really good. With, like, the fingers, like, sort of, like, in the dog's fur like that. It looked really good. But as far as, like, his actual expression, it was dead. It was really just the sparkle of his fake contact lenses that really sold it because it so perfectly mirrored the dog's eyes.
I mean, that was the only reason why that shot worked at all, is because he was paired up with the husky. So as opposed to you can't compare the two, but I'm going to try a little. Excuse me. if you compare his shot to Niall, it's like Niall and the dog are sort of working together. There's a cohesion. It's not disconnected. And he's not even touching the fucking dog.
Yeah.
As opposed to Bayo, who, I mean, yeah, okay,
he just seemed
finger placement.
emotionless.
He just didn't, at least it was an improvement over the punk shoot. But I think that he's had like kind of the same...
The dump I took an hour ago was an improvement over the punk shoot.
Oh, Lord. I feel like the same critique that they used for Ashley about her being kind of sleepy and kind of like dead in the face kind of applies to Bayo a little bit. Yeah. So when he needed to have something going on in the face, like during the punk shoot where he should have been dead, should have been reversed. Like he shouldn't have been growling because it would have scared the dog, but he should have like do like Tyra's like inhale, like do something. Like he just looked very stiff.
Well, at least it was a step above the actual sleepiness look that came over Justin J Smooth.
Oh my god,
who was directed to just be chill, and I'm like, I don't think you understand what he's saying. I mean, granted, he's not Yusai's not expressing this very efficiently, but what he's trying to say is stop overthinking it. Stop like trying to model and just like be in this moment. And I want to capture a photo of this moment, and you just stay in it. That's what you do.
Yeah, it doesn't mean look like someone's about to...
Sorry about that.
It doesn't mean that someone has to... He has, like, the look that someone has, like, when they're waiting for somebody to bring them another beer. Like, it was just, like,
it was
open...
Very, like,
it was, like, wide, spread eagle.
Well, it started really weird, too, with him, like, holding the dog in his arms. And I'm like, that is a big dog. And then Yusai's like, I want to see the struggle of the weight of that dog. And I'm like, that is not going to help right now.
No. I don't know why that was a weird choice. I guess, you know what, Justin's biggest flaw, at least for his photos, and also being forgettable, but that's an entirely different problem. He makes very weird choices.
Yeah, very odd choices. And like, he is an extremely attractive person. He's a really hot guy.
He's a good-looking man.
Like, you could see, like, his look, like, really doing well.
And I appreciated his
modeling.
passion at the go-sees of, like, I'm just going to try it, whatever. Like, either they like me or they don't. And I thought that him and Dustin did really well together. And, I mean, he just doesn't have quite a presence, but I think he's also kind of, like, a quiet person. So it was nice to kind of see him come out of his shell at go-sees. So it sucks that he's, like, kind of too up in his head. And maybe he only has one, like, Blue Steel-esque move. Like,
it might be.
Adam from last cycle.
J Smooth though. That's the name of his movie. Is J Smooth.
But maybe he's like Adam. He's gonna have like the clenched blue suede steel.
Blue steel.
No, what was Adam's thing last cycle? It was like blue suede steel or something like that. I don't
remember.
Either way, maybe J Smooth's like lean back sack of potatoes thing was like his only move, and now that he doesn't have that, he doesn't really quite know how to make choices on set that are going to help him.
Like Tara was saying, like, you know, this is like, you know, you were trying to do the not modeling, but I'm modeling look, which apparently Stefano, or however you say it exactly, I think Stefano was the villain from General Hospital. But nonetheless, I was raised in summers when I spent my days at home. My mother had a strict regimen of soap operas. It was always All My Children, One Life to Live, then General Hospital. We learned all about Stefano. Nonetheless, no, that Stefano was on Days of Our Lives. That's the one I added to the cycle. Because it was so insane. But nonetheless, Stefano is what we'll call him. Stefano, I thought actually did a really good job of that shot because it looked like a whole bunch of like high fashion ads that I have legitimately seen in a bunch of magazines. It looked like it was right out of a magazine. The look they gave him, on the other hand, was
oh my god! Everyone in that
straight out
picture,
of Chewbacca's family. What
everybody
the hell was
in that picture needed a haircut. It was too. And they also put him in the stupid
fur vest.
Oh, I just wanted to shave
the fur vest with the hair dyed swoopy to match the vest and the fur of the dog. It
looks like some Donald Trump reject wig that they just cut a patch out of and stuck on top of his head.
Donald Trump would look better with that hair than he does with the one he has.
Either way, no man needs crimped hair. Let alone a toupee version of it.
Frosted hair.
Oh, God.
Crimped and frosted. Let's. Are you that British dad who was changing his baby's diaper?
I don't know what
you didn't see that video?
About,
oh, look for that video. It's hysterical, but that's kind of
that's how I feel when I look at Stefano's hair. See, and you accurately pointed that out because I was like, I hate this photo. This photo makes me want to gouge my eyes out. But it's Stefano's hair that makes me want to gouge my eyes out. It's so hideous.
But like his pose, like the look, the lighting of it, everything about it really was like right out of a magazine. And I don't know exactly how. Maybe because I don't know what it was. Because it really did feel kind of neck and neck between him and Dustin. Because when we finally got to judging, Tyra, instead of just saying, she says, "I have only one photo in my hand, and this is the photo of the eliminated contestant who's coming back. But I'm not going to announce this name first. I'm just going to announce the names of every single person who didn't make it before I get to you." Like,
like you could also tell that she had run out of ways of, you are not America's Next Top Model. You are not coming back into the competition. You will be going home. She just like kept finding ways to say it because she had to say it so many different times. And I mean, I understand sort of the point is to like show us what the final product is. And I appreciated that, but
yeah, and then it was just
a really long-winded way of pitting Dustin and Stefano against each other. And so Jay Smooth, so it's kind of funny. Dustin ends up coming back and Justin is in the bottom too, and they both shared the same dog, which is the pit bull.
And I think this sense of symmetry is going to carry, I think it'll carry forward into the delayed ending of this episode, which will be the beginning of the next episode. But like with all that you mentioned, like, you know, they're talking about the symmetry between you and the animal, the symmetry between Dustin and Justin with their nearly identical names, and them doing exactly the same on the go-sees, booking the same 3 out of 4. And then one being the number 1 out of the eliminated people that comes back. And then there's Justin, did it again. Mix them up. Justin is at the bottom of the not eliminated pack. It's like, it's so clearly divided. Everything about it is like so perfectly constructed. I'm like, they're not going to give up this construction. They've been working all season with the writing staff to get this going. Like, they probably plotted this like 6 episodes back. You know, that's the feeling I'm getting. I'm like, I think it's going to come to that fruition myself, because really the edit was really telling us to me that Justin was the one who was going to go home. He was the one who talked about his family. I mean, I still think they were tricking us with Hadassah. They were just trying to throw us off, and I wasn't really buying it.
Oh yeah, I wasn't buying that either. About
because she didn't have,
like, was rich, now I'm poor.
This wasn't her time. You could tell like the arc had to
it was
work its way to
strange
her going
because they tried to like throw a couple MacGuffins in there because it was like she mentioned the whole family thing. Like, that's not going to come true, and then it was only confirmed because she got overpraised for the rest of the episode.
And so like, okay, we know
and
she's
won
not
the
going
mini
home.
challenge. The second that you win the mini challenge, despite how you like. You're going to have a boost of confidence, and you have that 10 going in, so I feel like you're usually at least safe. So.
Safe-ish, because sometimes people who win the mini challenge go home because they do so shitty on the main challenge. But like I said, she was so overpraised. I was like, okay, I'm just like not getting the elimination vibe from her. I was getting it from Justin because he's been very like middle of the pack throughout this season in terms of his performance. Obviously, we said his looks are on point. We like him. He doesn't seem to have a bad personality. He seems to be a nice guy. You know, he doesn't take himself too seriously. But
he didn't have to lure Mame into his bed.
No, he didn't. They kept showing shots of her when he was down on the bottom too, like, and she legitimately looked like a little concerned, like, hey, I don't want to lose my baby. Not the offensive way. I shouldn't have probably used those words.
Yeah,
but nonetheless, I don't want to lose my man.
I would prefer if my boyfriend did not get eliminated right now.
Because I'd really like to continue sharing a bed with him because we seem to have a nice time. Which
yeah,
must
and
be
I also, well, but then I also might enjoy having a full-size bed to myself, though.
That's true. Once all the rest of these people get out of the house, because they were only staying here for the night.
Yeah.
It was really just so Beyo could have a fight in the jacuzzi, where Hadassah was in the jacuzzi in her bra.
I think that was just her style of bathing suit.
Was that a bathing suit? It looked like it had boning in it.
Some swimsuits do have boning, though. I know, but some...
It was a poorly designed swimsuit.
That's how some swimsuits
It looked like she just took off her top.
She has big boobs. She has big fake boobs, but she has big boobs.
Are they fake?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I don't really care. I don't like boobs.
I don't... Spoiler for everyone at home.
Oh, I'm guessing... If you can't see my hand gestures, I don't like boobs.
But, let's get back to the photos here.
Because we kind of went over, like, our favorites. Like, Lacey's photo was really good, too. Because she really did have, like, laser-like eyes that just, like, burned right through the page.
And she had some crimped hair going on. It looked fine on her because it matched the dog.
She created her own wind, that's why.
Oh, yeah. It just looked like an animal died on top of Stefano's head. I'm just like, nope, this isn't working for me. But anyway, so Lacey did well. I mean, the top 3 shook out about the same with the addition of Hadassah, which they're trying to, like, show you was, like, on the way back, but I don't buy it. I don't think that. Yeah, I mean, maybe top 5, but I don't really think that there's much else for her in this competition. I still maintain that it's going to be Niall Lacey and Mame. Even though Mame, I mean, she booked every single one of her go-sees, even though she got it taken away from her thanks to Kelly. And
which they had to mention like 5 times.
God. Yeah, Tyra's like, why were you late? And like, why do you think she was late?
She's like, LA traffic. I thought it was important to go to all of the go-sees, so I tried to, and I did, and I booked all of them. And unfortunately, you put us in a city where it's impossible to get to 4 different places and back to our starting point in 2 hours. Because, I don't know, how did the other people do it? How did they do it? I don't know. It happened for some of them. It just didn't work for Mame. And
I mean, maybe they had to, like, wait at the very last designer. I'm not really
there's
sure.
probably a lot of that.
There's a lot of stuff that they don't show us, obviously. So it didn't work for her. It almost didn't work for Dustin and Justin, and it almost didn't work for Beo and Devin. But
I thought it was particularly unkind of all the models to be jumping up and down when the time limit had expired and they were already in the office. Like, yay, the others are going to get back in time. Yay.
Hey,
I'm not here
to make friends.
But, like, those are, like, people that everyone actually liked. But, you know, the people, Mame is a threat in this competition, so they're probably very happy that they didn't have to. And, frankly, they should have been, because if she had been on time, none of them would have won nothing.
Yeah, especially Hadassah. And then we would have had to take a second look at that loser family edit cut. So, let's see. Oh, well, since we're speaking of Mame, I mean, she didn't get as well received. Well, maybe
only
it's
just from Kelly. And the other judges were like, "What is wrong with you? You're fucking crazy." I'm
so
like, finally, you see this?
Was paired up with a Doberman, and she
Was she the only one with a Doberman too? I think she was. And then Kelly's like, "I'm just not seeing like sexy, powerful women here." And they're like, "That is exactly what I'm seeing." Miss J is like, "She is choking the dog. What is it that you do not see? Just go on back to your spot, girl. You're good." Like,
exactly.
Just like don't even listen to her.
Thank God for Miss J. Thank God in that moment, because she had said enough dumb shit.
I was like, what is wrong? You just want to shit on somebody who's good.
Yeah.
You just want to shit on somebody who actually
and she just likes to be contrary and just to be that.
And she had to do it with somewhere, and I don't think she could have gotten away with it with Niall. I think she's finally transferred her crush from Mikey to Niall.
Oh,
because
Lord.
she was over Mikey.
I mean, the best thing... So what I thought was funny,
Your mouth is not happening. And I'm like...
And the eyes are beat.
Not between your legs no more, I guess.
Ugh.
That's where it's not happening anymore. I'm just trying to see how many times I can make you make that sound throughout this podcast.
So what I found funny about Mikey's critique was the thing that I liked best about his photo was something that he didn't even do. Tyra, and it was like one of Tyra's like
you're
comments.
Playing with the planes, and I'm like,
he didn't
the
do that.
Did that.
Yusai did that. Your boyfriend just doesn't know how to take pictures, so you're always used to seeing things straight on, and not like no like rule of thirds whatsoever happening. So that was the thing I liked the most. And also Mikey looked a lot like the dog. It was like the long hair and then the long haired dog that also was like in the shot with Stefano.
It was like ABBA meets dog. It's like It's ABBA meets the Wegman Weimaraner shots. Is really what that was.
It was pretty boring, and I'm really glad that Yusai is finally kind of saying what we've been saying, which is I'm tired of seeing the same thing from him. Especially if he can't hide behind his hair. So
I mean, I always thought he looked sort of sallow-faced and
no, but if I have to give him like a positive or mixed to negative feedback, I'm gonna go with that. Is that he's got one look, and has to do a lot with his hair, and when he doesn't get that, it's even worse.
Yeah, well, I think there's he's got a bullseye on his back as well.
Oh, totally. But, I mean, if we're still using Yusai as, like, the barometer of who's going home, who's towards the bottom, I mean, he kind of called it with Justin. So, there's that. I mean, there was nothing to really say about Devin's shoot. He got paired up with, what was that dog called?
Chinese Crested.
And they're really, like, kind of silly, cute little dogs, if you've never seen one before. And they've got, like, the little faux hawk, and they're, like, really kind of hyper and, like,
it totally
twitchy.
matched Devin to a T.
But Devin did not see it.
He's so weird. And I loved his outfit, even though it was very, like, little Lord Fauntleroy.
No, I like it, too, but I just didn't like it on him. It makes him look like one of those, like Augustus Gloop from Charlie and Chuck.
Augustus Gloop.
He just seems like, Daddy, I want more chocolate. Like, I just feel like that's him. He, like, seems like a weird...
Do you want some chocolate? You should have brought some.
Yeah, he just seems like a weird... weirdly childlike.
I like the outfit, but I guess that's why the outfit sort of suited him, because he is weirdly childlike and somehow not self-aware at the same time. And, oh my god, like, even though he did actually... I thought that the photo that they chose was a good shot. But,
really?
like, I actually did think it was a good shot.
Compared to what we saw the shoot.
Kelly, there was
because there was a pose that he did in the shoot, holding the dog. I had to pause it because I had already seen it last night. Had to rewind it, watch it again. Watch it twice, actually. And then when you came over to review, I just had to take a snap of it. It's insane. He looks like Jim Carrey. His eyebrows are all over the place. His face, his eyes aren't looking in the same place. How is that modeling? How? How is that? So if that's like what you have to choose from, holy shit.
Well, that's exactly what Kelly said. It was the one cogent remark she made the whole episode, which was like, I would like to see more diversity in, like, the film. Because this is really all that we're getting the whole time. And there was a good one in there that we chose, but, like...
You might not get so lucky next time.
We had to choose from. And he hasn't been lucky until now. And he's still there. And there's some other kind of luck involved. I don't understand what they... I don't know what they see in him, because I do not see, like... He's not one of those people that has... I said it before, and I'll say it again. He does not have one of those unique looks that translates well on film. It doesn't look good in person, which I don't know, actually. I can't say it doesn't look good in person. Maybe he's, like, amazingly beautiful in person, and then it photographs weird, and all we're seeing is the photographed image because we're seeing him on TV. We're seeing the photographs, but we're not actually seeing him in person. So maybe in person this plays a lot better than we think it does, and it's just that on camera it looks really odd.
Well, maybe not.
Because he's always on camera for us.
Well, maybe not, because he only booked one go-see, so...
That's true. That is very true.
And his feedback was, you have
a weird look. Was his feedback.
In a nutshell, yes.
That was his feedback. Let's not mince words here. They may have tried to there because they're so positive to your face. I'm like, really? That Emily bitch didn't look terribly positive to anyone.
I don't like Dustin and Justin because they marched in here and
I didn't get
representing
to see them
Ina Gardner.
in a suit. So I don't think that I would book them for one of our runways.
Yeah, like what? So is she like an evening clothes designer?
No, she's not even a designer. She's the PR person.
No. I meant this woman who she's representing.
I guess so, because they were all gowns that, like, the women were wearing. They were all
tuxes.
So it was like, it had to have been something like that. But it's like, hey, like, I don't think it was really that bad what they did, because they're like, hey, well, we have to go. We're really sorry. We just wanted to meet you. If you want, can we walk for you for a couple minutes and then we'll leave? Sorry, don't have time for more. I'm like, it wasn't like they, like, came up and went like, get out of here, Mike. I'm here to walk. Okay, I've only got 5 minutes. Okay, I'm going to go. Bye. Like, that's not really how it worked out. And, like, Kelly even said, she's like, oh, you kind of bum rushed it while they were changing their clothes. I'm like, oh, so really they took the 3 minutes that they had when nothing was happening to be like, well, let's walk for you as we are, just so you can see what you're, what we are, or whatever, and then we're going to take off. And then you can go back to these people who aren't going to win anything.
Pretty much. You're not even going to cast them. You already know that Ashley's too short, and you already know that drug addicts don't buy tuxedos, so...
They still know the fourth is in Law and Order.
Of that. You guys are welcome.
Mm-hmm.
Providing help whenever I can.
Oh, yeah. So, I think we all agreed, though, that Niall's 10s across the board was completely well-deserved. Best of the week. Obvious. I hope they all fare well in Vegas.
That reveal was just as depressing.
So sad.
As, like, the whole lead-up in Justin's story arc.
How do you go from going to Seoul, South Korea, to Vegas?
I don't know.
And how is Vegas, like... Is that even, like, a fashion hotspot?
No. Oh, I know why. Because Zappos Couture is one of the sponsors this cycle, and that's where they are. That's where they're based.
Oh, God. That's why.
That's exactly why.
That is horrible.
I just solved it.
And it's unfortunate.
I did it.
I just don't want them going to Vegas.
No, it seems really boring and flat.
Spring for a trip to fucking anywhere else.
No, it's not exciting.
They still have not gone to India as a fashion destination.
They're going to Vegas, Samir. Do you think they're ever going to India?
They went to Seoul last year. They went to South Asia on that
as long as Zappos Couture... Well, who knows?
They probably have some sort of connection to India.
They have sweatshops there, I bet.
Yeah, somewhere there.
It's Zappos. We all know.
Calcutta, Mumbai, New Delhi. Like, they could go to any of those places. And she could do a whole special interest thing on, like, the poverty. She could do her whole Slumdog Millionaire thing if she wanted. I mean, because, that movie did plenty to disrespect the culture of India. So why shouldn't Tyra?
I mean, if anything, she'd at least attempt to be respectful, I feel like.
She would at least attempt. I think she would. But I don't know why the fuck they haven't chosen that place yet. Because they've been to so many other places. Like, where have they? They've gone to a couple places in Italy. They've been to Paris. This was the first cycle. They went to Paris.
And never again.
And never again. And see, they've gone to London.
They've gone to Japan.
Yeah, they went to Tokyo. That was cycle 3.
That was cool.
They went to South Africa in cycle 4. I think it was cycle 4, yeah. With Kenya, who had to pose as an elephant in one challenge. But they've gone to, like, so many different major cities. They haven't gone to Russia. I guess that's not going to happen anytime soon either.
Ew, don't go to Russia.
They're not going to. They went to China. They went to Beijing or something. I think Beijing in cycle 8 or 9. But they've been to, like, a lot of the major cities.
I know. How have we gone
They went
from
to
that
Rio de Janeiro,
Vegas?
like...
All of these places, they have some fashion going on. You say Vegas, I'm like, so
I see
you guys,
showgirls and drag queens.
Yeah.
And people serving you free drinks in a bunny outfit.
Are you guys going to take in the Love Show? Or are you guys going to go see Britney at Planet Hollywood?
The Love Show would be great. I would be willing to put up with having been forced to go to Vegas as my fashion destination if I at least got some nice tickets to Love.
I doubt that's going to happen for them. But it's I don't think of Vegas when you say fashion. I think of, like, a trade show taking place inside the Luxor.
If you're going to go to a U.S. city, maybe New York City.
At least go to Austin or something. Like, seriously,
San Francisco.
You're not even changing time zones. Like, it's just... What's happening?
I don't know. I mean, at least they didn't go to Seattle or something.
I was just saying, like, you might as well have gone to
We're going to Portland! Williamsburg, Brooklyn.
I mean, Portland would make a little bit of sense, like, if they wanted to work in some sort of vegan angle. Or, like, do spoof of Portlandia. I mean, I don't know. I don't think that's on their radar.
Work in a cat-walking business.
Yeah.
Because, they have to run it. They have to walk down a catwalk, so they got to practice by walking cats.
Wow. Wow.
That's a business in Portland.
Wow. So is throwing dildos up on power lines, but...
Yes. That's something to always love about a place.
But yeah, they're going to Vegas next week. Once we find out if it's Justin or Devin.
Justin or Devin are still hanging. Twisting in the wind, basically.
So well, I mean, not really, because they already know who went home and who did it. But I think another kiss of death was Justin being like, it'd be so embarrassing if the eliminated person took my spot. And wouldn't it be doubly embarrassing if it was the guy that you went on go-sees with?
Yeah, I think that they're just like I think that's what they said. I think they wrote that a while ago. I'm betting on that, but, I'm not going to put any real money on it because Tyra could surprise us and send Devin home and answer our wishes. But... they're only half my wishes because he is so entertaining that it would be nice to have him around a little longer. But, I still think he's awful as a model, and I'm really all about the justice here. I want the right person to win because that's what's supposed to happen on these shows. The most deserving person wins. Actually, that never happens. It almost never happens. Just like the Oscars. Happens very rarely.
And on that note... you know what this is. We were rooting for you. Hopefully you have downloaded or subscribed to us by now on iTunes, or you just hit the little subscribe button on our YouTube digital page, YouTube page, GAMbIT Digital. Mm-hmm. You can find our written reviews on gambitmag.com. Please like, comment, share, and do all of that stuff with everybody you know that loves Top Model. I mean, even if they don't, if they just like bitchy banter, then you should tell them about this podcast and point them in the direction of our reviews. You can find me on Twitter at MargSheWrote.
You can find me on Twitter at SamirRaculous, like that's smear and miraculous in one word, SamirRaculous. People have started finding me.
Yay! It's
really difficult to spell.
I think so.
But, usually we tag each other and things on it, on Instagram, where I'm Samiracles, much easier to remember, and on Twitter and on Facebook. So, we're around. You can find us. If you want to shout out to us, we'll shout back at you because we love shouting at people.
We really do like shouting.
At each other especially.
Kind of great. I mean, obviously, you know if you listen to this podcast.
I know you should see the sound meter on this podcast when we're recording it. It looks like I haven't told a single truthful statement in a polygraph the entire time.
Oh, it looks like Tori Spelling's celebrity
Sorry, Tori Spelling and celebrity, those words still go together?
Right, lie detector test. That's a show on Lifetime that I need to get into.
I'm more a fan of suppository spelling, one of the drag queens in SF myself, but no. Nonetheless, I think that we have really run the gamut for GAMbIT this episode of Top Model, and I hope you come back next week.
We hope you come back every week, and stay tuned to what we're up to next, because you never know.
There might be some more podcasting in the pipeline.
Until next week, we bid you goodbye.
Bye!